Hello, beautiful soul. I'm Vicki Howie of ChakraBoosters.com, the creator of Chakra Boosters Healing Tattoos. Welcome to this video in my series on foods that can heal and boost and balance each chakra. We are now at the highest chakra, the seventh, the crown, which resides off the body. Now this is very important because the body is where the food goes, right? And the root is related to the body, and the solar plexus, the third chakra, is related to digestion. So the root and the solar plexus really get affected by food, as does the second, the sacral, because it's also very embodied. But by the time we get up here to the crown, we're literally talking about a realm that is the opposite of the body. We're talking about a realm of pure spirit. The crown chakra is our connection to the divine. And so I'm going to have a different type of list here, but bear with me because there's always something we can learn. And even if it's we learn more of what not to do, that's important too. So let's first, though, real quickly look at the three things we've looked at for all three chakras. And if you haven't yet seen my video on using food to heal the chakras, you can go back and watch that. You could also go watch the other videos if you haven't seen them for the other chakras. Okay, so the things that we look at are the color of the chakra, the food type, and the glands that are affected or related to that chakra. The color here, often people say violet, but that violet, once we move farther away from the body, that violet turns white quite quickly. That's why white is the spiritual color that we always relate to. We think of what color is spirit? White. So, not a whole lot of white foods, right? And that's not going to apply quite as much here anyway, and I'll get into that in deeper detail. All right, but we have violet and we have white. Then we have no food type. Just as I had to use a food type that was presentation for the third eye, because it's also an upper chakra that's related to the spiritual world, where we were beyond literal food types at that point. So now we're way beyond them. And when I list food types, I talk about fasting, literally not eating food as being the food type for the crown, okay? And that's often been a way to cleanse our bodies, but for longer period of history, it has been a way to pay homage to the divine. And there are still religions that have fasting built right into their seasonal rituals, right? Their religious rituals. So yeah, it's it's a big part, very important to the spiritual life is fasting, not eating at all. And then finally, we're going to talk about the pituitary and the hypothalamus. And I will talk a little bit about foods for those, okay? But I'm going to start my list with, when we're talking about foods that help you to open your crown chakra, food number one would be no food. I mean, we have to make it number one, fasting. As I just said, many religions have fasting peppered into their religious rituals because what it does is it moves us away from fasting. Many people say fasting is really hard at first because we're so connected and addicted to the food. We eat it all the time. We need it, right? We need it. And we eat things maybe we shouldn't, but most of all, we just get very used to the food. So we literally have an addiction to food, and that's a good thing because we need it, right? But breaking that cycle can not only cause us psychologically to be less dependent on the physical and to better ignore what the body is asking for, which is what the crown is often about, to be above the body, but it also allows us to lift our energy up. Often when you fast for a while, you feel lighter. You literally have to be careful not to be too lightheaded. And the crown is the lightest chakra. So you want to do it really smart. I'm not going to give you any information on how to fast here. That's way beyond my nutritional education. But there's so much information online. And if you decide to fast, I hope you will do it really wisely. Which brings me to food number 2, which is really my first real food, if you can call it that, right? And that is water. So water is so essential, and if you're doing fasting, you're going to need lots of water, and you may do it with other liquids as well. But water goes throughout our whole system. We need water to live. I mean, we really do. If you watch any of the survivalist shows, you realize just how quickly people are dying for water. We take breathing and water for granted. And because water is clear, water purifies us, water is so much about the Crown Chakra. So what I recommend is that you use high alkaline and structured water. We have a local water here in Sedona that comes from a creek that is higher alkaline that I use, filter it, then put it into a beautiful glass jar where I also put in 6 quartz crystals. I used to have 7. As you can know, I'm the chakra lady, so that's why it's 6 right now, because one of them was getting like growth on it and I didn't like that. So right now I have 6 quartz crystals, but you can put in whatever number you want. You could have one favorite one you really love, and that will really be enough energy for the water. But it's called structuring the water when we bring the intelligence of the quartz, which is clear quartz is a high crown vibration. It's just a clear channel of energy for us. So you can structure the water with quartz, and there are many ways. You can buy mineral waters that actually already have high alkaline. Now, why high alkaline? In the simplest sense, you could think of the chakras as, at least I like to, and this is, I'm simplifying. I get that I'm simplifying, but I want it to be easy for those of you that aren't nutritionists like me. And that is that alkaline is moving to the upper chakras. Alkaline is freeing, and alkaline is considered healthier because, remember, root chakra is the world, and root chakra is our aging and our decay. Acidic diet is heavy, and it takes us down. It breaks us down. So acidic things tend to move us toward death. They tend to break the body down, and alkaline foods tend to raise us up and make us feel freer and lighter, and they're just better for the body. Okay, so when we talk about alkaline, though, there's so much confusing information, and I don't want to add to it, so I'm not going to go in too much deep detail about alkaline, but I do want to talk about the fact that some foods are actually acidic, but when we put them in our body, they become alkaline, like some of the citruses. Like I really like grapefruit, and many people put a little lemon in their water. Okay, they actually turn in our body a little bit alkaline. But still, even with those truthful stories running around, if you look at true indexes for alkalinity, which are PRAL indexes, P-R-A-L, and it stands for, let me see if I can remember this, it's potential renal acid load. There you go, potential renal acid load, which means once the food's been metabolized, this then is the alkalinity that's left. And that's all we really care about. We do not care about what the alkalinity is of a food when it's outside our body, because that doesn't do anything for our body. So when we're looking for foods that affect our body, we want to look at PRAL indexes, P-R-A-L, because there's a whole bunch of information online that really isn't correct. So you're getting much more scientific if you Google PRAL scores for any foods. Let's go to some high PRAL foods, some high alkalinity that you can get just from putting it on your plate. Okay, so if you are going to eat some foods that are going to raise your alkaline, your pH alkaline level, would be your greens. Now I love this because we talked a lot about greens, all the really good dark leafy greens and that. in the heart chakra. And you may notice when I'm doing chakra videos that there's so much in common between the heart, which is our balance point in our body, and the crown, which is our connection to all of everything divine, connection to everything, because everything is divine and everything is consciousness. So we often say everything is love, and the heart is all about love. So there's so much overlap and so much in common between the heart and the crown. And once again, we see it here because your super simple, high level, go-to high alkaline foods are your leafy greens. Your spinach and your kale are really, really good, but even higher than those, if you can add a little in, are your beet greens. Beet greens are usually tested as the highest green that you can get, but they're not as good flavor-wise, so you might just want to add them to a smoothie or add them to a salad, not have them be the primary green. So a more neutral tasting one like spinach. I use fresh spinach every day in my smoothie. Now I'm going to talk about foods that are good for the hypothalamus. So the two glands that are affected by affect the crown and are related to the crown are the pituitary and the hypothalamus. And the hypothalamus responds to chromium foods. And 3 good chromium foods are broccoli, garlic, and potatoes. You can also just Google high chromium foods or chromium foods and get some other ones too, because some of your favorites might be on there. But 3 that are pretty high are garlic, potatoes, and broccoli. And broccoli, of course, is a green again, so it's probably pretty alkaline. And then finally, for number 5, for the pituitary, there's different information about what's going to be best for the pituitary, but there's a big agreement on a supplement. So I'm actually going to include a supplement here, which is L-arginine, and I'm not sure, because I haven't heard it spoken too much, if I'm pronouncing it exactly right, but it's pretty popular. L-arginine, you can get it in most, I believe most drugstores now, certainly in your health stores. And it's really good for the brain, for the pituitary. Everyone seems to like it for that. So I'm actually adding a food supplement. And I'm going to have one mentionable here, one honorable mention, and that is breath. I couldn't leave this out because there is a whole group of people that claim they don't eat. And these people are very much about getting their nourishment from the divine, and they're called breatharians. And breatharians, I can't tell you exactly how they operate. You can look it up on Google again, but there are live people who claim that they haven't eaten for years and that they are existing on prana and on breath. So I personally like food too much, and I enjoy living in my whole body and living in my lower chakras as much as my upper chakras. So I'm not going to become a breatharian anytime soon, but I just wanted to have an honorable mention there because I thought you might want to look it up and learn more about it. And certainly maybe using prana in the way breatharians do more would help you to open your crown more, because definitely breath is related to spirit. We know that we have respiration, inspiration. They go hand in hand. So that's it. We finished the food. If you missed any of my videos, you can go back and watch those. And I thank you so much for being on this journey with me to find out about the foods that heal and boost and balance each chakra. And I'll have another good series for you coming up, and I will see you on that video. Blessings.